Come and get me. You guys give up, or you're thirsty for more?
So what else did he get?
Like I said, he took all of our presents. He took my CD collection.
CDs?
He even took Dae Dae's baby pictures.
Pictures?
Oh yeah, and he got our speaker, man, with all our rent money in it. Rent money!
The air was crisp as Christmas Eve descended upon the neighborhood. Kevin had barely slept the night before, not from excitement but from anticipation. With the wet bandits targeting his home once again, he knew he couldn't let his guard down. Yet this time was different. For the first time, he wasn't alone. Craig and Dae Dae sat in their security golf cart, now parked on Kevin's driveway, eating snacks from a vending machine they'd found during their patrol. Pop stood nearby, pacing back and forth with his hands on his hips. "This don't feel right," Pops grumbled, side-eyeing the house. "Ain't no way a kid should have to deal with criminals on Christmas. If it were me, I'd—" "You'd what?" Craig interrupted. "Yell at them until they apologize?" Pop shot him a look. "Boy, you better be glad it's Christmas. Keep talking and I'll deck your halls." Inside, Kevin watched the trio argue from his living room window. He shook his head and turned back to his trap designs. If he was going to pull this off, he'd have to work fast, and pray Craig and Dae Dae didn't accidentally sabotage him. The McAllister house was now a fortress. Every room was rigged with traps, each more creative than the last. The entrance ambush, a welcome mat rigged to squirt oil when stepped on, sending intruders sliding into a wall. The candy cane catapult, a mechanical slingshot that launched oversized candy canes, perfect for stunning burglars. The Christmas ornaments of doom, a staircase covered in fragile ornaments that shattered underfoot, leaving shards scattered to slow down pursuers. Kevin also set up a surveillance system, repurposing his old walkie-talkies to communicate with Craig and Dae Dae. Though not the most reliable backup, he figured they'd at least serve as comic relief if things got too intense. This time the wet bandits weren't taking any chances. They'd enlisted two local petty criminals, Rico and Jamal, who fancied themselves as professional thieves. While Harry and Marv planned to sneak in through the back, Rico and Jamal were tasked with creating a distraction by cutting the power to the neighborhood. But Rico and Jamal hadn't accounted for Pops. As they crept toward the utility box in the alley, Pops emerged from the shadows, holding a flashlight like it was a weapon. "Y'all must be lost," Pops said, his voice low. "This ain't no free electricity buffet." Startled, the two ran off, only to stumble into one of Kevin's outdoor traps, a net rigged to hoist them into the air. Pops chuckled, shaking his head. "Amateurs." Inside, Kevin monitored the cameras as Harry and Marv broke in. Craig and Dae Dae were stationed outside, arguing over who had to guard the back door. "Why it gotta be me?" Dae Dae complained. "It's cold out here." "Because you're the backup," Craig replied, shoving him toward the side gate. Harry and Marv made it past the first line of outdoor traps, but their triumph was short-lived. Harry stepped onto a pressure plate that triggered a deluge of honey from above, followed by feathers from a fan. Marv, laughing hysterically, didn't notice the tripwire until he was flat on his back, covered in holiday tinsel. Craig and Dae Dae, hearing the commotion, rushed in. Unfortunately, they activated another one of Kevin's traps, a catapult loaded with whipped cream pies. Both men were instantly hit. "Man, this kid is out of control!" Craig yelled, wiping cream off his face. "Out of control? He's a lunatic!" Dae Dae retorted. With Harry and Marv now in the living room, Kevin pulled out his ultimate weapon, a Christmas tree rigged to drop a shower of marbles and jingle bells. As the burglars slipped and slid, Craig and Dae Dae burst in, Pops following close behind. "All right, freeze!" Craig shouted, holding a broom like a baton. "You're surrounded by—" "Ut!" Harry rolled his eyes. "Oh no, I'm so scared!" Pops stepped forward, brandishing his toy BB gun. "You better be. One more step and you'll be singing Silent Night in soprano." Kevin took the opportunity to call the police, who arrived just as Harry and Marv were hogtied with Christmas lights. Rico and Jamal, still dangling in the outdoor trap, were taken into custody as well. As the burglars were hauled away, Kevin's family returned from their vacation, shocked to find their home intact and filled with new, unexpected guests. Craig, Dae Dae, and Pops shared a celebratory meal with Kevin, enjoying his homemade pizza and cookies. Kevin couldn't help but smile as Pops tried to pocket one of his gifts, claiming it was security bonus. Craig and Dae Dae, meanwhile, debated whether to retire from security work altogether. "Next time we take a job, let's make sure there aren't any crazy kids involved," Craig said, shaking his head. "Yeah," Dae Dae agreed. "And no glitter. I'm still picking it out of my hair." Kevin laughed. "Merry Christmas, guys, and thanks for saving the neighborhood."